BSHL fans, and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. With all your support, the podcast is growing immensely, and tonight we're celebrating our 100th episode. I'd like to personally congratulate Corey Robichaud and Corey Vautour for becoming everyone's favorite tag team, as well as the rest of the podcast family for their great commitment and dedication in promoting the BSHL. For all the fans out there, why not leave them a note on their Facebook page? Tell them just how much you love them. Now here are the guys themselves, the big boss, Corey Robichaud, and his tag team partner, Corey, the Anvil Vautour.
Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm your host, Corey, joined by my little elf, my co-host, my friend, Corey.
I like that elf.
I stole a page out of Adam Story's book there.
That's what I am.
My beard is gray. I look more like Santa. So
yeah.
You look like one of those weird elves in that old elf bowling game. Remember that one? You ever play that? It was a shitty Flash game back in the day. It was like elf bowling or Santa bowling or some. It was elf bowling, and you'd bowl and the pins were elves. I think you were Santa and you'd bowl and the pins were elves. Anyway, you look like one of them with your little fucking goatee there.
Your
little goatee there, buddy. Corey, it's our 100th episode all time.
I wanted to get kazoos and all that, but I can't for the life of me find them. So
were you trying to find one at like the dollar store or something?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't go look. I don't go to the store.
So I was trying to find kazoos, but I didn't actually go look for kazoos.
I looked like in my sock drawer, didn't find them there.
Do you normally have kazoos?
I do not, but you never know.
I had a bad cough there. There's no better time for a kazoo than right now. Here, I'll pull one out for you here. That's a terrible sound effect from YouTube right there.
What was that?
Oh, it's still going. That's a weird kazoo. It said kazoo sound effect. Didn't sound much like a kazoo. That one is for Ricky. You're welcome, buddy. I don't know why, but he's the one. He's the chosen kazoo man.
The kazoo. Is his
100 episodes?
Kazoo?
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Great Kazoo. Like the great Kazoo from
the Flintstones.
Yeah, he'll just be the Great Kazoo.
It's so funny that you mentioned that. This week, I watched an episode of South Park, and they were watching an old cartoon called Wacky Races.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, that can't be a real cartoon. It is 1968, and I'm almost halfway done.
Wacky Races?
Yes.
You found it and started watching it?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's for something that I've never
That's
watched.
A no.
It's nostalgic. No, it's good. It's think of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Think of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Very. You paint something and you're supposed to crash into it, but they go right through it, and then the bad guy, he hits it and splats on the wall. That kind of humor. If I'd smoke weed, I'd do that before watching it, but I'm a square, so.
You've become a swear over time. I have now contracted whatever in the hell cold or flu the rest of the podcast crew had for the last month. So I'm now coughing and actually took a rare day off work today. I don't really miss much time at work. Don't miss many games of hockey. I'm just not a guy that takes much time off. But today I was in bed. I was knocked out. So
yeah, it's an odd one. It's no bueno.
Yeah, it's not good. So 100 episodes, Corey. Pretty crazy. The amount of podcasts that get to 100 episodes is something like 2% of podcasts or something. Just some bizarrely low number. So pretty proud of that. Most podcasts don't make it past like 5 episodes apparently. So
yeah,
we've accomplished that pretty comfortably. What is your best memory from the last 100 episodes?
Well, there's a few. There's some that are embarrassing. There's some that are just a memory of commitment. My earliest memory is the first interview with Trey Lewis, being starstruck. And
You were
Trey,
quite anxious.
just I didn't even have a computer. I was doing it off my phone.
It's true.
The
good old days.
First time I said the name Jessica Bernard, I called him Jesse KO.
Jesse KO, that's up there for me.
That's
Every now and then when I say Jessica Bernard, I'd still say Jesse KO Bernard because it makes me happy.
Probably the one that I remember the most. This was a trip to Shippigan.
Okay.
Where I got sick halfway. And I've told this story 1,000 times. I got sick halfway and I'm really not feeling good. And I'm like nervous because it's me, Cheryl, and Mama Podcast.
We were live streaming that game.
We were live streaming that game. By the time we got to the arena, I'm freezing. I got the chills. I'm really not feeling good. And I remember powering through and thinking, like, not once did I say I'm not doing it because I'm sick and let's turn around because I'm sick. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. We're doing this. But I remember finishing the game, and I remember Cleo, one of our fans, he came and introduced himself to us, and it was all cool. And I tried to play it off like I was fine, but I was very, very sick. And I remember getting home that night, and the one thing that I was thinking about is jumping in bed. And that's my one memory, is the sick game that I call it.
The sick game. It's funny you mentioned Jesse K.O. Bernard. That's definitely up there for me. I feel like I should call everybody by some weird name, like Trav I.S. Robichaud or like Rick K.Y. Bassrash. I mean, just go with that for everyone since you do the Jesse K.O. I don't know.
What would
for
be
me,
mine? What would be my nickname?
Core EY. Core EY Robichaud, dickhead. The Core EY Vautour. Sorry, fuck. Robichaud's my name. Listen,
I've been adopted.
You can become I might as well adopt you, your stupid ass. You're around all the time, fucking guy. I don't know. For me, it's those early interviews when we were really trying to push for it, and now we do a lot of post games. We talk to a lot of the guys, and we're going to be bringing more people on for interviews. It's hard during the season; everybody's quite busy, but we'll try to start getting more interviews in. But some of those early ones are kind of, and I just remember hustling as hard as I could for some of those. Like I remember Jean-François Roussel. This is one of my favorite ones. Jean-François Roussel texts me and he's like, "Do you have my goal from tonight?" And Cheryl's the one that has the goals. So I texted Cheryl and I was like, "Hey, do you have the last goal?" And then I watch it and I see a celebration and Puck Duck. And I was like, "Oh, fuck. I get why you want to see it. It's kind of a great goal, great celly." And then afterwards I was like, he's like, "Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, if you want to do me a favor, just come on the podcast sometime." And Roussel is like French, man, like French. And he's like, "I don't know. I'm not too comfortable in English." I'm like, "Well, just find me one of your teammates." And he gets us in contact with Mr. Charles Austin, which becomes that. And that's poignant today because tomorrow they're retiring his number in Trackety.
Mm-hmm. And we will be there.
We will be there. Got to fight through this cold, get rid of this a little bit. Today was a big day of sleep for me, which was lovely. But yeah, we're looking forward to being in Trackety, seeing that. Definitely well-deserved. Yeah. Multi-time podcast guest. But that story for me, when the dude said it was like, I don't know if I can do it, but I'll find someone.
I thought you were going to mention, I might be misremembering this. Early on. Like I probably was on the podcast for maybe no more than a month. And Corey sends me a message and he's like, "Hey, do you want to meet up at Pizza Delight for lunch?" And
that's funny.
That's bizarre. And he sits down with me with a fucking smile from ear to ear. And I don't remember if this is the actual name. I feel this is the name that pops in my head. And he's like, "Guess who we're going to interview in a couple of weeks?" And he goes, "Nick Foran." And I was like, "You're kidding me." And I remember Corey just being like, he said he'd come on, being so excited. That was a month into the podcast and a month into the first season. So
yeah, there was man, that's not the Pizza Light story I thought you were going to tell, but I enjoy that one as well.
What was the story you're going to tell?
I remember early on we were going to we were heading to a West Kent Steamers game. And that day, for whatever reason, I don't know, I had a fever or something. I was a little delusional. I decided that I was going to start messaging the teams to try to get some interviews and get some, get some collaboration with the teams. So that day, I was like, fuck it. I messaged every team and got answers from most teams. Didn't get an answer from the Spring Hill Coal Miners on that day because Connor Smith's a prick. But he answered like the next day or something. We've become really good friends since then. So it's all good. But it was extremely nerve-wracking because I was doing it. Nobody knew who I was. You'd come on. You'd come on, but we hadn't really started to. We hadn't done any interviews.
No.
Hadn't talked to any teams. So we were just kind of there. And it was before the preseason even started last year. So we went to Pizza Delight for supper before the Steamers game. And I was like, man, I got to talk to you tonight. And I told you, like, yeah, I contacted all the teams. And Corey was like, oh, shit, it's getting real. And I was like, yeah, well, I have interviews with them. At that point, we had interviews lined up with David Morrison, Trey Lewis. We didn't know who yet with Shippingen, didn't know who yet with Trackety, but we were talking to them. I'm trying to think, did Dalhousie respond? I think they did. But when Travis and I started chatting, it was about a week later or so. And very quickly he came on the podcast and then we did some post-game stuff. And
yeah,
since then it's been nothing but smooth sailing with the Marauders. But just that, when you take that first step or you jump out there, it's extremely nerve-wracking. And I wanted to throw up. But I remember I was on lunch at work and I was like, fuck it, messaging every team right now. So I just did it. And it's been no regrets. It's been good since then. But that was another Pizza Light. Moral of the story is we eat a Pizza Light in Bucktouche every now and then.
To celebrate or when
we have something to talk about, good or bad, sometimes bad, sometimes bad. We've had a couple. Corey's we've had a couple of those.
I was trying to think about it, but I remember now.
Yeah, that happens.
I'm not going to beat around the bushes. Corey's worked a hell of a lot harder than me at this. This has been his baby. I've done my part. I admit that I've done my part, but Corey, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be where we are without you. You sell yourself short. Yeah. I think you're an integral part of the podcast. I think Cheryl plays an integral role.
Absolutely.
Tracy plays an integral role. My mom plays an integral role. I will even go as far as to say Ricky Bassrash plays an integral role with his photography. And Adam Story plays an integral role now with the intros. I think we just keep expanding the podcast team a little bit, and everybody's role is different.
Yeah.
And everybody pitches in and we get it done. But I think we only just keep expanding this team a little bit. Yeah. And everybody's equally important to me.
With that being said, in your opinion alone, is there one specific moment from the beginning of the podcast to right now where shit really got real and you're like, oh, okay, like nerve-wracking, like this happened? Like, is there one moment? Like,
there's a few.
You think of going to Dalhousie and they shout the podcast out on the PA.
That was one that was kind of surreal. So we're in Dalhousie. Corey doesn't come at that point. He was under the weather. He was something. There was reasons. So it doesn't matter. Corey didn't come to that game. Probably broke. Whatever. We go to the game, and during the first period, they say we'd like to welcome the team from the Unofficial Bowser Senior Hockey League podcast. Mark Giroux, who we didn't even know at that point, shouts us out. Cheryl's recording it, so we forever have that recording. I started shaking. It scared the shit out of me because I was like, oh God, it's real. This is real. Immediately messaged Corey. We weren't live streaming games then. We didn't have a DSLR camera back then. Like, we weren't doing post-game interviews. We were babies.
Yeah.
We thought we were doing a great job, and we probably were doing a decent job, but it's not the podcast you see now. That moment for me was kind of surreal. Another one for me is the last game last year, early in the afternoon, I get a message. Again, another Dalhousie story. Get a message from Travis, and he goes, "Hey, Jeremy Letourneau's in Cuba or wherever. He's somewhere out south." He goes, "If we win tonight, we want someone to come on the ice with the live stream. We want to live stream it." So I go, "Okay." Corey runs the live stream. So immediately for me, I'm like, "Corey, if the Marauders win tonight, they want you to go out there with the live stream." But that's a surreal thing, right? Like it's a big step to actually get on the ice with the team celebrating the championship. Like for us, that's an honor. We'll never forget that. I'm sure we'll do that again with other teams based on the relationships that we've built, but it's never something that we would have thought to do or thought we should do or have the right to do. I mean, it's a very special moment for that team. Now, being there and live streaming and being on the ice ended up creating a really nice memory for that team, I'm sure, and for us. But in that moment, I got that message, and I was at work in Moncton. And I remember going, "Oh, shit, that's a good idea, actually." So I was like, I'm a person who never says, like, we can't do that. So, to my own detriment. High Button talked about that a bit. Matt Doodley talked about that, how, they'll say yes to whatever, and then they'll figure it out. In that moment, I was like, "Yeah, we can do that. No problem at all." Then I'm like, sounds like something Corey's going to have to do because that scares the shit out of me. So I tell Corey, "Yeah, they want you to go out there." And Corey's like, "You're coming with me." And I was like, "Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, I'll go with you." Ended up being one of the coolest things I've done in my life. Like really a memorable thing. I'll remember that when I'm 80. Like that's special.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. The thing that made me, when Corey told me that, going on the ice with the team wasn't the problem. The problem is I can barely walk. Now you want me to walk on ice. So I'm like, I'm going to slip, fall, break my neck, break my ankles, break my knee, break something, break my ass probably. And I remember telling Corey, I'm like, you're coming with me. He's like, "Yeah, no, I'll be with you. I'll have the camera." If you watch that live stream, I passed right by Corey. I'm so nervous to go on the ice. I pass right by Corey. I say hi to Adam Story, and I'm on the other side where somebody pulled the fire alarm for some stupid reason. And then all of a sudden I see Corey on the other side hopping on the ice. And I'm like, "Oh shit, I got to get there quick." So I rush over to Corey and I'm on the ice and I'm like walking. I'm like, "This ain't so bad. It's not slippery or anything." Didn't realize how cold it can be on the ice. Great memory. You can see that. You just put in game 6, I believe it was.
It was
game 6 of the finals. The Lumberjacks versus the Marauders. It is still up. I watched it just a few weeks ago, and just to get primed for the new season. And that's probably one of the memories I thought you were going to mention is the first viral video that you had.
Oh, the first viral video that I had was Trey Lewis getting punched in the face by Nick Foran. Yeah. It was sent to me by a fan. We posted it, and it got to 100,000 by the next morning. Went to bed that night. It was like 300,000 or 400,000. If you've never experienced a video going viral, it's very overwhelming. So you're just seeing comments, lots of comments, especially with something that's as polarizing as that. Like, dude just standing there eating 5-6 punches. Trey had the calmness of a god, and Nick was just punching him in the mouth. So a lot of comments we had to delete, as you can imagine. So yeah, that one, and then the next day it got to like 750 or 800.
Yeah.
And then it got to 1 million.
Guy that Corey is, when it got to 1 million, it was going to get to 1 million any minute. So he had us in a group chat, phone call or message call, whatever it's
called.
Messenger, waiting for it to turn to 1 million. And I remember Corey got emotional, got teary-eyed and all that. And everybody got teary-eyed except for me, because I don't cry about anything except for like wonderful sports moments. And I was just there like, wow, this is important to him. This is really, and I realized right there, like, this is real. This is something that we gotta take serious, and we've taken it serious, and it's paid off 100%.
Yeah. It's never been a financial thing for us. We'll never break even with the podcast, and we're fine with that. We don't want to break even with the podcast. It's just not about that. It's about covering a league that means a lot to us, covering a league that means a lot to a lot of people, giving promotion to these guys who lay it all out there on the weekend after their 9-to-5 jobs, or while they're on EI because they're fishermen or whatever the case may be. These are very talented players. I always tell people, they always say, why do you like senior hockey so much? And I say, there's a legitimate percentage of this league that if they wanted to be playing in Europe, they could be playing in Europe. If they wanted to be playing pro in the States, they could play pro in the States. Is there a bunch of guys who could play in the NHL? No. Like, let's be real. It's a small percentage of people that could play in the NHL. This year, we do have some former NHLers, which is wild, but it's a very elite thing to make it to the NHL. But a lot of these guys will be making a living playing hockey. They choose to be closer to home. They choose to be closer to their family. And we're privileged to have very, very good senior hockey in our area. And this podcast, if it helps elevate it or promote it or lets these guys show their family what they're doing, that's worth it for me. You see some goals that you're like, oh, man, like that Vaikool goal, Bob Peltier, capturing the pictures of that. It's cool, man. That's a cool moment. That's cool to be able to capture stuff like that for somebody. Yeah. And hopefully they enjoy it as much as we do. Doing the live streams for people so that they can watch their loved ones games when they're on the road, or if they can't make it, if they're sick or something. It's a lot more than just a podcast. It's not just for us, it's for everybody. And we actually had somebody message us the other week that they were in the hospital wondering if we were going to be live streaming a game. Because they wanted to watch it and they were in the hospital. And we were going to that game. We were live streaming it. And that person got to watch the game on live stream in the hospital because of us. And I take that seriously. It's if we have a small role in making someone's life a little bit better in that moment, then that's pretty cool. So, and it's all possible because of all of the people that are listening right now, the people that watch, people that support us, and all the people that have helped us get here. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to Corey. Thanks to Cheryl for everything she's done, all the video editing, all that stuff. Mama Podcast for the notes and the support, and for Tracy for the graphics. So, and I mean, YouTube, Votor, I suppose you've been an integral role.
See that he thanked me twice.
Oh, did I? I don't know. He's sick. What are you gonna do?
Thank you, everybody. Happy 100 to another 100 and to another 1,000. So here we go.
Let's get into it, Corey. Week 10 of the podcast. Corey's sitting up now. He's excited.
Oh, yeah. Week 10, episode 29, 100 overall. Games for this weekend. On Friday, the LC Puck Duck Hawks are making the trip to Bucktouche to face the JCs. 7:30 is that game. We won't be there because we will be...
Some of the podcasts will be there.
Some of the podcasts will be there. The rest of them, just not me and Corey.
Exactly.
We will be in Tracadie to see the Dalhousie Marauders take on Les Corsaires de la Péninsule Acadienne. 8 o'clock is that day. A few jersey retirement, including our good friend Charles Austin.
And Serge Thériault, I think, is the other one.
Serge Thériault. I knew it was Serge. I didn't know his last name, though.
Yep.
Another game on Friday. The Amherst Ducks, they will be taking on the Miramichi Northmen at the Civic. 8:15 is that game, a rematch from last week. Saturday, the Bucktouche JCs will take on the Amherst Ducks at the Marsh. 7 o'clock is that game. And we'll be there. The Peninsula makes the trip to Dalhousie. 7:30 is that game, a rematch from the night before. No games on Sunday, so you know what that means. We're not going anywhere on Sunday.
We're sleeping in, baby. Let's go.
Oh.
Sunday mornings, Tracy and I always go grab breakfast at Seaside Grill, so it's nice when there's no game. We can kind of come back and chill. So
you still see Mac Brown there?
I see Mac Brown there occasionally, yeah, for sure. Mac's also a Seaside Grill guy. Man, not only Mac, lots of guys. I've seen a lot of Hawks there. It's a damn good restaurant, man. They have a solid breakfast. What can I say? Great service, great breakfast, great people. So you should come meet us there one morning, Corey.
I should.
You should get up early one Sunday and come meet us at the Seaside Grill. We're there normally for between 8:30 and 9. Okay. Not too early. Not too early. And I'll feed you bacon. Oh. Like a mama pigeon. I'll spit it into your mouth.
You're just keeping me away from Seaside then.
I don't know why you don't want to do that. Good God. I'm saving you time. You're not gonna have to chew. Your jaw will be fine.
I'll pass.
All right.
After week 9, here are the standings in the league. In first place remains the Bucktooth JCs with a 10-3-0 record for 20 points. The Miramichi Northmen are in second place, 7-6-1 for 15 points. The Dalhousie Marauders are in third place, 6-5-1 for 13 points. La Corsaire de la Péninsule Acadienne, they're in fourth, a 5-5-3 record for 13 points. The LC Puck Duck Hawks are in fifth place with a 500 record, 6-6, and 0 for 12 points. And the Amherst Ducks, they're getting better there. They are still in dead last though, 4-8-0 for 8 points. And as you can see, it's still pretty damn close.
It's getting close. The Marauders were in like fifth place a few weeks ago, and now it's just amazing how things change. Suddenly they're sitting in third. JC is still sitting in first.
Yeah.
Don't forget that the top 2 teams get a bye for the first round.
Yep.
The 3rd seed will face the 6th seed. The 4th seed will face the 5th seed in the first round. So it's going to be
a point separates the Hawks and the Marauders and the Corsair. 13, 13, and 12. So if the playoffs would start this weekend, Miramichi and Bucktooth, they get a bye. Dalhousie and Amherst have the longest trip in the league. And Le Corsaire take on the Hawks.
Love that. That'll be some good hockey.
Different from last week.
It's a lot different. We're going to see a lot of changes, but we'll be bringing you that playoff picture every week from here out.
Yep.
You want to do our picks, Corey?
Well, let's do the leaders first. Goals, leaders,
I'm excited for the picks.
I'm excited. We're gonna wait. Come on,
prick. All right, go for it.
Goals leader with 12 goals. We have Luke Williams, sole leader. He's the man right now. Forwards point leader. He just jumped after that dominating win versus the Hawks. Pascal Valcourt stands alone as the points leader for forwards with 21 points. What can I say? He's good.
Impressive.
It's the vinegar in the poutine, I'm telling you. Corey just put his hand in his head.
It's like, whatever, man. We're rolling with it.
We're start.
Yeah, seriously.
D points leader, we have a tie with 13 points each, Tommy Bezo and Danik Kret. And goalie wins remains the same as last week with 8 wins, Alex Collette.
Close one. It's getting good. We're getting down to the point where we're going to be seeing who gets that defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, MVP. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Now can we do picks?
We can.
All right. Thank you.
So first up, LC Puck Duck and Bucktooth. Who do you pick?
I picked the Bucktooth JCs.
I'm going with the Hawks.
I love it.
You want to know why?
Because you want the Hawks to win?
No. I love history.
You love history?
I love history.
All right.
Who was the first team to beat the Hawks in the 2022-2023 season?
No, it was the JCs in overtime.
It was the Bucktooth JCs. Now, the JCs have already lost. But they haven't lost at home.
Oh.
Eventually, they're going to have to lose at home.
You would think.
I think eventually, you still got a couple weeks. If there's one team that's probably going to do it, I think it's the Hawks. There's a rivalry there. And, congratulations on the point, Corey.
The teams don't like each other. The fans aren't fond of each other. It's one of the best rivalries in the league, maybe the best rivalry in the league.
It was my number one. You disagreed, but.
All right. What are you going to do next?
Next up is the Dalhousie Marauders and the Peninsula, the game we're going to be at. Here's the thing with me. I wrote down a team and then scratched off and put the other team. So originally I was going with Dalhousie, and I thought it's Charles Austin and Serge Tidio. Their jersey retirement. The Peninsula are going to be super motivated. I think the Peninsula take it.
I'll take the Marauders.
Ooh.
Give me an underdog.
Okay. So next up, we have Miramichi and Amherst in Miramichi.
The Ducks have been bringing better and better teams out on the road. I think the Ducks are going to be very competitive here. I think it goes to overtime. I think Miramichi wins. Sorry.
I also have Miramichi.
I do think that it's going to be a good game, though.
I think it's going to be great. I'm glad. Brett Young better be playing that game because I want to see Roxanne stream afterwards.
It's true. Same. Saturday, one game?
One game. 2 games, yes. Bucktouche and Amherst.
I have Amherst.
I have Bucktouche. I think
it's Bucktouche. Say no more.
It's Bucktouche. I don't know. There are some teams that they've dominated. There's some teams that just hates Bucktouche more than other teams. That's why I'm going with the Hawks. The Hawks, I think, would take pride in giving them their first home loss. And that's my reasoning for that. So last game, the Peninsula in Dalhousie.
I have Dal.
I also have Dal. Any reasons?
They're at home. They're a great team at home. Some of the best fans in the league. I think who's not going to get up when you have 82 fucking horns blowing towards you? It's loud as hell in there. So I think that's why.
My left ear is still deaf. I still can't hear out of it. Thank you, Popoff.
Is that Popoff?
He was sitting right in front of us.
Yeah.
Blaring that horn. For whatever reason, it would just go straight into my left ear.
Nice.
He gets a free pass, though, because I absolutely love Popoff.
Yeah, there you go. I agree.
Popoff and Tammy are good people.
Yeah, they're the best, man. I love Dalhousie fans, so they get a pass from me in general.
Yeah.
Their excitement is the best. And it's funny because the horns are always around the same places, you know?
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy that sits in that last section. When you go in, it's on the left side. Last section, there's a dude that sits up top there with a horn. Popoff has a horn. Carly's dad has a horn. Like, you know where the horns are. So I just avoid those sections as much as I can. And my ears appreciate it.
I remember, there's somebody said, why are you always screaming when Dalhousie scores?
Yeah, I have to.
It sounds like I'm screaming to you people. I can't hear myself. It's that loud. So I'm screaming, but I'm still not hearing myself. It's that loud in that building. So they're like, only in Dalhousie where he's screaming. It's because they can't hear. It gets so friggin' loud. The passionate fans there, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
So this Friday, there's a toy drive in Miramichi. So bring some toys for the Northmen to collect and donate to charity. I love that they're doing that. It's Ringette night in Bucktouche. Does not mean that the JCs are playing Ringette. It means that anybody wearing their Ringette jersey can get in with a parent for free. I think that's a really cool idea. I love that. So get there with your Ringette jerseys, support the JCs.
If I were going to that game, could I just take a Montreal Canadiens jersey and write Ringette on it? Would that work?
You don't look like a Ringette player.
I don't look like I play anything.
You look like you play PlayStation.
I look like I'm the guy that brings you the smelling salts and then gets high off it.
You look like the guy who's playing World of Warcraft on a Saturday afternoon.
I look like something that I flushed a week ago.
Good God, it got serious. I don't look like I'm playing Ringhead either, to be fair. I look like I'm playing Farming Simulator because I am. It's also, I'm trying to think, what's the other thing? Oh, I'm a dipshit. Retirement night in Trackety. We're going to be there.
Yes.
Sarge Teddy O. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing Charles Austin again. Being able to be there to experience that with him is a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking forward to being in that rink. We might live stream. We're going to try to live stream if we have a connection. We're hoping to have a connection for it. And then hopefully we'll be able to live stream that to everybody so they can all see it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a special night.
Scream.
If it's too loud, you're going to scream. We're looking forward to it. I haven't been to Amherst in about a month, so I'm really looking forward to getting back to for you, it's been literally a month, exactly a month. For me, it's been a little over a month, I guess. Really looking forward to getting back to the Marsh. So we'll be there on Saturday, weather pending, always weather pending. And we'll probably grab some food at the Marsh before the game because they have a damn good canteen.
Yeah, I heard, who? Was it Ricky that told me they have the best poutine?
Ricky loves their poutine.
Yeah.
I'm all about their hot dog. They have a wicked hot dog. But there's also some great restaurants in Amherst. So
there is. I remember sitting with Ricky. You weren't there the last game. And he just
Sitting?
Sitting. Yeah, we were sitting.
Ricky was sitting.
Ricky was sitting.
Fake news.
No, it's true. So he looks at me and he goes, "Remember how I said Miramichi is my favorite arena?" I go, "Yep." He's like, "Not anymore." I'm like, "Which one is it?" You like this one?
It's a beautiful rink, man. It's something about the Amherst Stadium. The people are really nice, and it's just nostalgic. It's just this. It has this feel.
What's not to like about
the
Amherst?
PA sucks. That's what you don't like. The PA is terrible.
But the Rock's dad is born in Amherst.
That's great. The PA in that rink sucks.
But the Rock's dad.
There you go.
Soul
and
Man
good
Rocky
Putin.
Johnson.
And good Putin.
Soul Man Rocky Johnson.
You're in rare form tonight, Vautour.
Former WWF World Tag Team Champion. Father of the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who was in those movies that I can't remember the name of. What about the Cars? It's probably called Cars.
You're in rare form tonight, Vautour.
Is it Cars? What's the movie he's in?
Moana? What are we talking about right now?
The Rock's movies. There's like 1,000 of them.
He's not in Cars. He's in Moana.
No, it's not a cartoon. It's a real life action thing.
Fast and the Furious?
Is that what it's called? Is he in those movies?
He's in some of them.
Okay, it's that.
Do you want to go into the filmography of Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
I'd rather not. He's doing it.
I'm doing it. Let's see. I mean, for me personally, so he's in Red One, which is right now. It's a North Pole movie. He's in Moana 2. He's also in Jumanji. Yeah, he was in the Fast and the Furious movies. Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart was a really good one.
Wait. He was in Jumanji?
Yeah.
This is before he was a wrestler then, huh?
The 2017 release, you dipshit.
There's a new one.
Yes.
No clue.
Your lack of knowledge of pop culture is really something to me.
remember the one with Robin Williams.
1994.
In 94? I thought it was 95.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, there's a new one and he's in it.
Jesus.
He's in a bunch of the Fast and the Furious ones. I really enjoyed, there's a few, but Gridiron Gang to me was probably one of my favorites. I enjoyed that movie.
Never saw it.
Shocking. Now we're going to name another singer and see if Corey has ever heard of this person. This is going to be one of our new segments every week now. Casey Musgraves.
What the fuck is that? Musgrave? What kind of name is that? My God, his parents must really hate him.
Or her. It's her. Casey. It's a girl.
Casey Jones was a guy.
One of my favorite artists. She was on my Musgraves.
That's a pseudonym for sure. There is no last name called Musgrave.
That's her last name, you
you're
dick.
Fucking ribbing me.
And that she was on my Spotify rap this week, or last week. She was in my top artists. So
Musgrave.
All right.
God.
Thanks for being here, folks. 100th episode. We'll be back next Tuesday. 101st episode. Looking forward to seeing everybody in Tracadie on Friday night. Podcast will also be in Bucktouche on Friday night. And we can't wait to get back to Amherst. See you on Tuesday. Corey, thanks for being here.
I can't believe the podcast is ending on Musgrave. 100 episodes and we end with Musgrave. Take care.